Here at the field house in Madison, Wisconsin. Stanford down 2-0 after being up 15-11 in the second. They had an opportunity to close out and potentially win the second set. Haley Nelson went on a bit of a serving spree and just put the Badgers back in the game and eventually ahead as they routed off 6 straight points. And that is the exact same thing they did yesterday in the game with Ohio State. Quick recap of that fourth set. Ohio State's up 19-14 before McDonald goes back to serve. When she leaves the service line, they're up 20-19. That was the main issue before teams tied up at 20-all, and then Wisconsin finished the set. But Stanford has really struggled right now with their block. They picked up 4 in that set, but right now it's just not going to be enough. They've got to keep it up right now. They were up 15-11, and it's been their inability to dig the serve. The backline play has been pretty poor so far. If Stanford can improve that, they still have a chance in this game. It's not over until it's over. Obviously, their backs are against the wall, but they knew that coming into this game. Stanford at this point really has nothing to lose. Many people predicted them to go out in the Sweet 16. They've advanced. They're here in the regional final without arguably one of their best players this season. And Stanford also has a player in Inkia Joniku who is a difference maker. She's been a little quiet. She leads the team in kills, but she's only had 13 attacks, while Catherine Plummer right now, the Pac-12 Freshman of the Year, had a very slow and short game, 4 kills and 4 hitting errors. Moretta Lutz right now getting it done, 7 kills on 1 error. But for the Badgers, Haley Nelson and Krishkova each have 9 kills, while Gillis has 8. Haggerty kind of quiet with 5, and Carlini has a dump kill as well. Jenna Gray's tried the dump 6 times in this one, and only one of them, or had none, and she had 1 error on one of those attempts. Stanford had the lead in the second before giving it up. Backs against the wall, nothing to lose. What and how does this team respond? Inkia Joniku, the leader of this team, we know she gave some sort of an inspirational speech for the ages in that locker room. She's out there right now, fired up, and so is this team. If you're just tuning in, Wisconsin wins the first set 25-18, and they storm back to take the second 26-24, and are now 1 set away from Columbus, Ohio, and a Final Four spot. The winner of this game will play the winner of UCLA and Minnesota. Both of those two teams advancing yesterday. UCLA beat North Carolina, while the Golden Gophers beat Missouri. Holland McKenna back to serve to start off the third. Teams have switched sides. Stanford now in front of us here at the announcer's booth. Stanford in their road blacks, while Wisconsin in their home white. McKenna back to serve. Puts a good one down here, Haggerty. Carlini on the outside for Gillis. Hentz able to get a hand on it. Humphreys saves it as she goes into the booth. Hentz 3-balls it over. Trying to save it. Stanford gets the crazy point to go. They're all fired up. That could have been a difference-making play. Hentz had to lay out to save it as Humphreys flew into the bench on the outside. What a crazy way to get the set started. McKenna back to serve, sends it into the net. Service error. That's Stanford's first service error of the game, but a costly one as it's 1-1 here in the third. Bates back to serve. Far right corner. McKenna unable to dig it. Service ace. So a 2-point swing right there. An error and then an ace the other way as Wisconsin has 4 aces now. Bates, the libero, back to serve again. Sends it just long, out of bounds, service error. Tied up at 2 now. Fitzmaurice back to serve. Ajanaku in the game. Stanford has had opportunities in both sets. Fitzmaurice back to serve. Gets a good one down here. Play at the net. Jousted over. And Carlini was able to get it to go over Ajanaku. Tough break right now in Stanford. Just fighting down by 1. It's 3-2. Back to serve Carlini. Far left corner. Plummer. Gray. The slide. Ajanaku rips it down on the outside. We're tied up at 3. Moretta Lutz comes in. Stanford back to the 2. True, tall, small. Ajanaku and Lutz have had great games. Look for Gray to start to feed them more on offense. Back to serve, it's Jenna Gray. Far right corner, it's a good one. And hitting it over was Kriskova. McKenna, Gray, up the middle goes to Ajanaku, but she's stuffed by Nelson. What a tough break for Stanford as they had the play that they wanted. And it was senior middle blocker on senior middle blocker. And Nelson sent it right back in Ajanaku's face. Dodd back to serve. Hence, Gray. Inky doesn't miss it the second time through. She's fired up out there. Voniak's coming in the game for Holland McKenna. Stanford needs to make and send a point and a message right here, right now, if they want to win this set and extend the game. Catherine Plummer back to serve. Near right corner. Sends a good one down here. Struggle with by Dodge. Kirschkova. Bates is going to hit it over. Plummer. Gray. Inky. Up the middle she goes. Rifles it down for the point. Cardinal up 1. It's 5-4. Back and forth the 2 teams go. So much on the line. Plummer back to serve. Good one down. Service ace from Catherine Plummer. Very similar to what happened in the second. Stanford got ahead. They let the Badgers back in. Can Stanford keep it going? Nothing to lose at this point. Play with your hearts out. Plummer with another good one. Carlini for Haggerty. It's blocked down by Lutz and Ajanaku. And Inky with so much emotion running through her body right now. Stanford's up by 3. Here come the card. Plummer back to serve. Near right corner. Sends a good one down here. Haggerty. Carlini. Up the middle. They go. Ajanaku sends it back down. Stanford rolling. 8-4 they're ahead. Keep it going. Nothing to lose. Inky. Dominant right now. Plummer back to serve. Another good one down. Carlini dumps it. Ajanaku able to save it. And Stanford can't save it as Voniak and Plummer come together. It's 8-5. Up 3. Can Stanford keep their foot on the gas pedal here? Back to serve Haley Nelson. Hence, Gray. Near side for Voniak. Blocked down by Williams and Kriskova. And this is the exact situation that Stanford was in the second. Nelson, so good at serving, able to pick apart Stanford's defense. Plummer with another bad dig. Hence will set it near side for Voniak. Dug out by Dodge. Carlini for Haggerty. Plummer able to dig clean. Gray for Voniak. Off the block. Nelson gets a hand on it, but unable to get to it was Dodge. Stanford back up by 3. It's now 9-6. Fitzmaurice subs in. Stanford already with 2 blocks in this set. 7 total in the game. Hence back to serve near left corner. She had 5 service aces in the game yesterday. Dodge, Carlini, Haggerty. Hence gets a hand on it. Plummer will set it. Well, not very far as Hence has to 3-ball it over. Carlini, the slide from Williams. Plummer digs. Gray's going to set near side for Voniak. Bates gets a hand on it. They save it. Haggerty tips it over. Plummer Gray, outside to Lutz, rifles it down. Oh, but they're going to say that she missed the line. Point to the Badgers. Loretta Lutz's second hitting error of the day. And back to serve Amber McDonald. Far left corner, Plummer. Gray outside to Lutz, roll shot. Bates gets a hand on it. Haggerty saves it. Hitting it over Carlini. Plummer, Gray, outside for Lutz. Dug out by McDonald. Carlini sets Williams, and she hits it into the net. Not much of a block, but right into the net. Stanford up 10-7. So far, Wisconsin only has 1 kill and 3 hitting errors on 9 attacks here in the third. Humphreys now in the game, back to serve. Haggerty struggles, play at the net. Tip back over, saved by Wisconsin. They go outside to Haggerty. Roll shot, Humphreys digs. Gray's gonna set the slide. Fitzmaurice, dug out by McDonald. Carlini's gonna throw it over to Haggerty on the outside. Hence with a nice dig. Gray's gonna set near side for Voniak. Off the block, dug out by Dodge. Carlini for Haggerty. Hence digs it. Gray pushes it near side for Voniak. Dug out once again. Carlini back for Haggerty. Out of bounds, point to the Badgers as it goes off the antenna, off the Stanford block. It's 10-8. Stanford up by 2 here in the third. And back to serve Haggerty. Hence, Gray, far side for Voniak. The blocks there, Stanford recovers. Hence will set it near side for Fitzmaurice, who's able to get the kill very easily, as I think a lot of the players for the Badgers thought she was going to just tip it over, and she hit it with some aggression, and Holland McKenna goes back to serve. This is a young unit right now for Stanford. 4 freshmen, 1 sophomore, and a senior. That's Kelsey Humphreys, and Stanford's pretty small out there. McKenna back to serve. Gets a good one down. Carlini can't get to it. Service 8, Stanford back up by 4. It's 12-8. Backs against the wall. Stanford with nothing to lose. Battling with every point. By far the biggest crowd this team's played in front of this season. McKenna with a good one down. Bates overpass. Fitzmaurice sends it back down. 13-8. Can Stanford keep pounding? Timeout taken by the Badgers. 13-8. We're going to keep it here for the first timeout of the third. So far, the Cardinals are playing their style of volleyball, while the Badgers are struggling to hit right now. Stanford up by 5. They were up by 4 in the second before sort of giving in to Wisconsin as Nelson took over from the service line. But right now, Ajanaku's on the bench, and the lead continues to grow. So if Stanford can just keep this going, they have a shot to win this set and force the fourth. Wisconsin lost the third set of yesterday's game to Ohio State. They were down 2-1 at that point, as Stanford is looking to avoid a sweep, which they haven't had happen all season. 13-0 in 3-set games. Up by 5, it's a good number to be up by. Both teams hitting in the 200, Stanford at 223, while Wisconsin's at 280. Stanford with 2 blocks in the set, while the Badgers have 3. And Stanford has 7 kills on 4 hitting errors in the set. Badgers have 2 kills, 3 hitting errors, 12 attacks. They're hitting in the negative numbers. Teams back out on the court. Stanford in front of us here for the third, as they look to force a 4th set and keep their season alive. Holland McKenna back to serve, the sophomore. Near right corner, Haggerty. Outside to Gillis. From the back line goes Haggerty. Hence, Gray, slide. Fitzmaurice, dug out by McDonald. Carlini's going to set near side for Williams, and Stanford can't dig it as Humphreys and McKenna come together, and it's 13-9. Bates will go back to serve. She's been very effective today from the service line. Already with 3 service aces. McKenna struggles. Gray's going to push near side for Plummer, who rips it down on the outside. Point to the Cardinal. And here comes a Janaku. Inky with 10 kills on 18 swings. 389 she's hitting. Already has 2 digs and 4 blocks. As Fitzmaurice goes back to serve. Adriana from the near middle part of the court botches the serve. Service error, and we're back to 4. Krishkova back in the game as Lauren Carlini goes back to serve for the Badgers. Far left corner she goes. McKenna with a good dig. Gray goes a long way to save it. And McKenna's going to have to 3-ball it over. Bates, Carlini, up the middle goes Krishkova, and she sends it back down at Kelsey Humphreys, and Wisconsin's back to a 3-point game. Stanford desperately needs this side out here to keep their lead up. Carlini. McKenna with a good dig. Gray sets the slide. Ajanaku sends it down with no hesitation on the outside. Humphreys will sub out for Lutz, and Stanford's back to the tall small. We're at the exact same point situation that we were at in the second. It's 15-11. Back to serve Jenna Gray. Near right corner. Sends a good one down here. Gillis. Carlini back outside for Gillis. Blocks there, but Stanford can't get it as it goes out of bounds. 15-12. And Dodd will go back to serve as she just checks in the game now. 15-12, serving from the far right corner. Just gets it over, Hentz. Gray for Lutz. Dump shot dug out. Carlini for Haggerty. Sends it long. Oh, they're going to say there was a tip. John Dunning's up and he's furious. I'm not sure where it tipped. Ball never really changed direction, but it's a 2-point game. Dodd trying to send her team to the Final Four. Plummer with a bad dig. Gray sets up the middle for Ajanaku. Sends it down. Stanford back up 3, 16-13. Wisconsin getting a taste of what the Cardinal can do. Plummer back to serve. Near right corner. 6'6" freshman sends a good one down here. Dodge. Carlini up the middle goes Krishkova. Miss hits it out of bounds. The Cardinal are up 4, 17-13. This game is close. The field house here in Madison is rocking. Plummer just gets it over Bates. Carlini, the slide from Nelson, and she gets the kill on the near side. Point to the Badgers, and Nelson will go back to serve. This is a must-get point for Stanford. Keep that 3-point lead and try to make it 4. Hentz with a good dig. Gray's going to set the slide. Ajanaku rips it down on the outside. She is an inspirational leader as she'll sub out right now. She's got 13 kills, 3 hitting errors, 4 blocks. Hentz goes back to serve. Stanford up by 4. Near left corner. Good serve down. Carlini for Williams. Stuffed by Fitzmaurice. And the Cardinals are now up by 5. Tammy Alade leading the team in cheers. Timeout taken by the Badgers. 19-15. I'll take a break here on KZSU 90.1 FM. Jimmy Garcia on the call from the Fieldhouse. We'll be right back. Thanks for listening, and go Card.
For over 2 decades, our beloved Cardinal have dominated the collegiate athletics landscape. From Pac-12 conference matchups to bowl games and NCAA tournaments, KZSU has been right there with them like family. Stanford Athletics is a family you too can join and support. The Buck Cardinal Club was started in 1934 and it still continues to this day to support over 900 student athletes. By joining the Buck Cardinal Club, you can help them on and off the field and throughout the Stanford community. To find out more about the Buck Cardinal Club, go to buckcardinal.com. Your gift will help our athletes as we take on championships, bowl games, tournaments, and more. Thank you, and go Stanford!
With their backs against the wall and the season on the line, Stanford has responded here in the third. They're up 19-14. They're down 2-0. Nothing to lose for this team. Ajanaku wants to go out on top. The Fieldhouse trying to root their team on to victory. Hence back to serve, near left corner out of the timeout. Dodge, Carlini, outside to Haggerty. And the block goes out of bounds. 19-15. Back to serve. Plummer with a good dig. Gray sets on the outside for Lutz. Gets the kill off the block. Point to the Cardinal. Back to serve Kelsey Humphreys. Stanford up by 5. Near right corner, Haggerty. Carlini gets the dump kill to go. Down by 4, Haggerty's going to go back to serve. She serves from one spot on the court, middle part, and almost out of bounds going into the first row, way back. Hence with a good dig. Gray sets on the outside for Voniak. Off the block, Haggerty recovers. Play at the net, outside, Gillis tipped over. Near side for Gray, Voniak, Bates digs. Carlini's going to set on the outside for Gillis. Dump shot, finds the back line. Wisconsin within 3. Timeout taken. Stanford up by 3, 20-17, closing out the third set will be huge. Stanford has struggled at times this season with closing teams out, and this game by far the biggest they've played all season, and they've really struggled in the latter part of the sets. They're up by 3, and their seniors and the upperclassmen are playing so well right now. Ajanaku has 13 kills. Lutz has 8. Inky hitting .524. Right now, Catherine Plummer having a really big down game as she has 5 kills and 4 hitting errors. Only 18 attempts right now. And for the Badgers, Gillis, Nelson, and Krishkova each have 10 kills. Carlini leads the way with 39 assists. Jenna Gray has 35. Morgan Hentz has 18 digs, while Bates has 11. Overall, Stanford has 8 blocks to the Badgers' 5. Stanford has 41 kills to the Badgers' 48. Stanford has 1 fewer hitting errors, but they do have 3 fewer attacks. Stanford also has 6 fewer assists and 1 fewer service ace with 3 fewer digs. Right now, Stanford just doing their best to keep going and keep pounding. So much on the line right now. Good serve from Haggerty, Hentz. Great dump serve, gets it to go as her dump kill falls. Stanford up by 4. The Fieldhouse goes quiet as the whole bench is fired up. Stanford trying to force a 4th set. Colin McKenna back to serve. This is the first true adversity this team has faced in a while. Haggerty, Carlini, outside for Gillis. She's blocked out by Gray, and Fitzmaurice on the outside. Stanford up by 5, trying to close out the third. McKenna back to serve, near right corner. Haggerty, Carlini, the slide from Williams, Hens able to save it. Plummer will set on the outside, and Humphreys just tips it over. Bates for Carlini, outside to Gillis. McKenna able to dig. Gray's gonna set near side for Plummer. Point to the Badgers off of a double hit on Stanford. (22-18). Bates back to serve. McKenna can't dig. Service ace. Back to a 3-point contest. Already with 5 service aces, Wisconsin. Bates picks up her 4th. Serving from the far right corner. Sends it into the net. Service error. Stanford within 2 points of forcing a 4th set. Adriana Fitzmaurice back to serve. The fieldhouse is quieted down a bit as Stanford tries to extend the game. Adriana from the middle part of the near side of the court sends a good one down here. Haggerty. Carlene on the dump. Humphreys digs. Gray's gonna set. Near side for Plummer. Bates. Overpass. Ajanaku. Gray. Near side for Plummer. Off the block. Fitzmaurice saves it. McKenna's gonna have to set it. Plummer just hits it over. Carlini. Outside to Gillis. Miss hits it. Oh, they're gonna give her the point. Every fan here thought that she mishit that one, including us here at the announcer's booth. The fieldhouse went silent. 23-20, Carlini back to serve. Into the net, Stanford's at set point here in the third. A chance to extend their season. Stanford goes to their true tall-small lineup to close it. Jenna Gray back to serve for the set. Stanford trying to keep their season alive. Nothing to lose at this point. Sends a good one down here. Haggerty. Carlini out for Gillis. Gets the kill. 24-21. Stanford trying to get the point. They've got a Ajanaku with Lutz. Plummer out there. Catherine's had a quiet game in this one. Look for a Ajanaku or Lutz to come up with it here. Stanford in that lineup where they may go for the X. Hence. Gray. Ajanaku off the block. They recover. Hitting over. Hence. Gray. Outside to Plummer. Carlini saves it. Bates. Near side for Haggerty. 3 balls it over. Stanford gets the offense set up. McKenna. Gray. Ajanaku. Stanford forces a 4th set. And they keep their season alive. Teams are going to switch sides here. 3-minute intermission. As Stanford storms back to win the third, 25-21. We're going to the fourth here on KZSU 90.1 FM. I'm Jimmy Garcia. Thanks for listening, and we'll be back after a few short messages.